The Trump administration has put a new round of tariffs on Taiwan and other trading partners. Taiwan is set to hold an airsoft shooting contest to boost its whole-of-society defense efforts. Japan is experiencing a cruel summer as temperatures soar above 40 degrees Celsius. Plus,
我觉得关注这些前辈受难的历史，一部分是让我们知道说这个就是赋予这个受苦的经验意义，其实可以让我们更认识就是人的韧性这件事情。
The story of a victim of the White Terror period is inspiring a new wave of youth activism. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chen. The Trump administration has rolled out a new round of tariffs on more than 80 countries, including Taiwan. It's the latest move by President Trump to keep tariff pressure on U.S. trading partners. Our reporter Lily Lamartina has this report.
Taiwan is facing another round of U.S. tariffs as the Trump administration looks for new legal tools to keep up the pressure on its trading partners after the Supreme Court struck down Trump's global tariffs earlier this year. In response, Trump first imposed a 10% global tariff under Section 122, a U.S. law that allows the president to quickly apply temporary levies. But those tariffs can only last 150 days and just expired on Friday. Now the administration is turning to Section 301, a trade law typically used to address unfair trade practices. The U.S. used it to investigate countries, it says, failed to prevent imports linked to forced labor. But a key difference is these new measures are more durable. They do not have an expiration date and are more difficult to challenge in court. These new tariffs range from 10% to 12.5%. Taiwan is getting the lowest 10% because of a previous commitment to prevent forced labor goods in the Taiwan-U.S. trade agreement signed in February. Taiwan's Vice Premier Zhang Lijun says the 10% tariff rate shows the U.S. recognizes Taiwan's efforts to prevent goods made with forced labor from reaching its borders. Economists we spoke to today also say Taiwan is getting relatively preferential treatment compared with some of its regional neighbors.
那所以301，因为台湾是10%，像日本啊、中国他们是高啊，日本是12.5%哦，中国是12.5%，所以反而台湾跟竞争对手国的关税相对来讲比较低。
However, there are still some important questions ahead. The U.S. has yet to release the results of another Section 301 investigation into structural overcapacity. Nevertheless, Taiwan says it will keep working closely with the U.S. side to secure the terms of its original trade deal. Howard Zhang and Lily Lamartina in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's top economic think tank is now projecting 10.38% GDP growth in 2026. The forecast by the Taiwan Institute of Economic Research, or TIER, is the highest prediction so far. TIER's outlook is based on strong AI demand that is boosting the country's ICT and electronics sector and driving record-high exports and domestic investment. But TIER also warned of inflation risks, with the ongoing war in the Middle East and extreme weather around the world pushing up energy and food prices. Oil prices have risen back to $100 per barrel for the first time since May. That's after Houthi militants from Yemen struck 2 Saudi oil tankers in the Red Sea. Houthis have vowed to blockade shipments from Saudi Arabia, opening a new front to the war in the Middle East, while the Strait of Hormuz remains closed off by Iran. U.S. President Donald Trump promised major military punishment after the attack, while strikes on Iran continue. Oil prices are up nearly 40% since the U.S. and Israel launched the war on Iran in February. Taiwan on Saturday will host an airsoft shooting competition and show off several of its weapon systems. It's all to highlight the growing importance of whole-of-society defense resilience. Alan Liu takes a look.
An Apache attack helicopter touches down on the grounds of Taiwan's National Defense University, a showcase of the military's training achievements. Joining the Apache is a Black Hawk helicopter, mostly used to transport troops, carry out air rescue missions, and deliver supplies. Displays like these are a way to show off Taiwan's reserve forces and to attract the public's attention to defense. Taiwan has seen an increase of gray zone activities by China, which hasn't ruled out taking the country by force.
这个活动也是一个全民防卫韧性的最佳展演，的确也是在为接下来下个月的汉光演习做一个暖身。各任务机依指定航线进入任务区域。
The Special Operations Command also showcased Taiwan's growing drone capabilities.
2号目标，3号目标。
The demonstration featured FPV drones performing high-speed maneuvers, drones working in groups, and transmitting real-time intelligence. The goal is to integrate reconnaissance with precision strikes on the battlefield. And the events also feature activities for reservists, like an airsoft shooting competition. From target shooting to indoor combat drills, competitors will put their skills to test using airsoft guns modeled after the military standard rifles, all to keep reservists shops and raise more public interest in national defense. Participants had to complete a series of marksmanship challenges, testing their shooting skills, decision-making under pressure, and tactical judgment. Some say the events help strengthen cooperation between the military and the public.
借由这种像这是竞技的活动，可以让就是名人跟后备的军人，甚至是现役的军人同胞们都可以做交流的话，我觉得这是一个非常非常大的好处。
The events also display a range of Taiwan's military equipment, including special operations assault vehicles, armor and tactical vehicles, air defense systems, and mobile missile launchers. It comes ahead of the annual Hanguang military exercise in August, and with Beijing's increasing threats, Taiwan is keen to strengthen its civil defense capabilities. Luffy Li and Ellen Lu in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
President Lai Ching-te reiterated his message of peace through strength at a ceremony commissioning a new class of domestically built warship.
和平无价，战争没有赢家，但是和平不可能靠一纸和平协议就可以达成，更不可能靠侵略者的善意，或者是接受侵略者的主张就可以办法达成和平的目标。我们笃信，以实力达到和平。
The Danjiang is a domestically designed corvette with stealth missile capabilities that can hit both air and sea targets. It's meant to carry out strike missions and respond to Chinese gray zone activities. A total of 12 similar class ships are expected to enter service by the end of the year. The Philippines and China clashed for a third time this week in the South China Sea on Friday morning. The Philippines says Chinese ships fired water cannons at official Philippine ships near the contested Scarborough Shoal. It says Coast Guard and fisheries vessels were attacked during a mission to supply fishing boats in the area. The Philippine Coast Guard called China's actions, quote, illegal, coercive, aggressive, and deceptive. China says it used control measures on ships it says were operating illegally in the area. Taiwan's unofficial ties with the Czech Republic are on shaky ground after Czech lower house speaker said that Prague would not have officials visit Taiwan in the future. Lawmaker Tomio Okamura led a delegation to meet with senior Chinese officials on Thursday in their first high-level visit to Beijing since 2019. He made the remarks in an interview with Hong Kong's Phoenix TV. Taiwan's foreign ministry declined to comment directly on Okamura's statement, but said Taiwan will continue to deepen cooperation with the Czech Republic. In June, the Czech Senate president led a delegation to Taiwan to boost political and economic ties. Coming up after the break, crowds flock to Orchid Island's annual Indigenous canoe races.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, download the TaiwanPlus app or follow us on social media. And by the way, this over here is drone soccer.
There's there's so many things that I wish the world could see.
It is amazing to watch this captain maneuver this giant ship.
It takes 3 days to cook this. The flavor is unbelievable, incredible.
And it's my turn to make something inspired by Chef Gore. It's going to be quite a challenge.
Can you imagine that?
It's surreal. Yes, so real.
I can't give up. I got some ass kicking to do.
Nice move.
We're pushing each other to explore and experiment in new, different ways.
5, 4, 3, 2.
A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News.
Exploring the issues that matter to you.
Not just to Taiwan, the whole world is watching.
很多时候是我们眼睛看不到的地方。
We might encounter mishaps and mistakes along the way. But at the end of the day,
it just transmits something straight from the heart. Yes.
Cheers.
Bon appetit.
It is about the fun, and it's about the glamour, and it's also about something much deeper than that.
Sometimes you just gotta seize the opportunity. You just gotta do it.
Have a place where you're appreciated for you exactly as you are, and where you can shine and be seen.
Is there a place you've been searching for?
We bring you stories, not just to Taiwan.
Exploring the issues that matter to you.
This is a journey that will move you. Our stories are all connected. TaiwanPlus.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. 7 decades ago, a woman called Ding Yaotiao from southern Taiwan was executed on fabricated charges of sedition during the White Terror. Now her tragic story is inspiring a new wave of youth activism. Irene Lin reports.
我就在这里过了1年又2个月。现在我将要离开，带着留恋的眼光。 回头那梦寐的岁月。
A journal entry reflects on life before imprisoned on Taiwan's Green Island in the 1950s. Its author, Ding Yaotiao, was a mother, a prisoner, and a White Terror victim from an early stage of the country's martial law period. Before she was executed on sedition charges in 1956, Ding was an ordinary post office worker. Until someone reported the Mandarin Chinese class that Ding's office was attending, claiming they were criticizing the government over unequal pay compared to the new colleagues from China. As a result, she was sent for a year to Green Island, the notorious offshore prison that housed political dissidents. After that, she hoped to carry on with her life with her husband. But authorities decided they weren't done with her.
他说：“啊，你放心好了。他曾经因为国语补习班这件事情送到绿岛去管训1年，已经没有什么事情了。但是因为我们还有事情要再厘清，那接受侦讯的时候，他们2个夫妻才发现不对劲，一直不断的认为他有参加地下党组织啊，他有发展组织。他们说吴立水是小书记，丁窈窕是组织。” 啊，然后雷水泉是宣传，在雷水泉的口述，他说这个是构陷的，完全没有这一回事。
Based on this evidence, Ding was executed. Back in the 1950s, the Kuomintang government had declared martial law and began a heavy crackdown on suspected communist spies, a period of political persecution known as the White Terror. Informants and officers who handled these cases were granted financial rewards. Historians and witnesses say reports often lacked proper investigation. Some survivors in Ding's case believe that she was framed not just by the police, but by people around her.
丁窈窕甲苏水员警告，讲有一个查甫咧入游啊，王启清，迄我嘛捌你啊，迄学校台南二中学校走啊4期啊，迄人人品不好，啊叫伊莫，伊咧入去啊，甲警告讲你莫插伊，啊所以王启清跳刑，啊才去啊。 检举丁窈窕。
这一个绳子，对吼，他有打结。
Back at Ding's old high school in the southern city of Tainan, one tree, one teacher, and an underground student club called Nanman are remembering her in their own way. One of Ding's fellow inmates revealed that under this tree, he buried a lock of her hair in commemoration. Teacher Ling Xiuzhen and her students decided to share the tale with a hand-drawn picture book written in Ding's mother tongue, Taiwanese Dai.
我们希望借由绘本向丁窈窕致敬。上简单的方法就是爱用丁窈窕的语言，用台语来写一本绘本。
Giving full credit to her students in the Nanman Club, Lin says these young activists were unafraid to speak up about injustices around them, even when they faced resistance on campus.
对我来说就是断裂与空白，因为那个断裂是我们对台湾史的陌生，然后空白的部分是这个故事压根可能是在校园里头比较少人去理解及明白的。南蛮叙述历史，他就试着用一种就是用台湾好像一种最草根及田野的方式，试着把这样的一个声音先传达出来。
Chen Shaoyun was one of the last members of the Nanman Club and the historical researcher for the picture book. When Ding's memorial tree was toppled during a typhoon, Chen started a petition to save it and got the attention of what is now the National Human Rights Museum. She says Ding's story and the process of researching it laid the foundation for her activism in Tainan.
因为高一就是 Google 嘛，维基啊，然后看到什么就说什么。 然后后面开始认识的前辈开始知道什么叫口访，然后可能毕业之后进了历史系，然后开始真的比较会查资料了。我现在自己也在拍一个白色恐怖的纪录片，然后我觉得关注这些前辈受难的历史，一部分是让我们知道说这个，就是赋予这个受苦的经验意义，其实可以让我们更认识就是人的韧性这件事情。
10 years after graduating from high school, former Nanman member Pan Mei now lives in Taipei but is still involved in democracy activism. She says although Ding Yaoqiao's story is less discussed these days, the social momentum continues to inspire younger generations.
我们最近比较接触到的是蛮多，他们是可能。 因为像我学姐或像我这样，就是我们这个快要30岁的年纪，然后可能我们在高中的时候启蒙，然后大学的时候持续接触议题，然后其实有蛮多人后来投身教职或是跟教育相关的工作，然后他们会回来问我们说，如果他们想要跟学生教228的故事，或是讲白色恐怖的历史，可以怎么讲
？7 decades later, and with most direct witnesses now deceased, it's becoming even more difficult to piece together what exactly happened to Ding Yaoqiao. But her story has planted a seed in a new generation of activists, sprouting across the country. Ding's lone memorial tree in Tainan now joined by them to strengthen the roots of Taiwan's democracy. John Su, Joseph Wu in England for TaiwanPlus.
A youth-led protest movement in India is calling for more rallies nationwide, even as government ministers seek to end the unrest. Organizers vow that demonstrations will continue despite violent clashes with police. The protests follow allegations of irregularities in national exams that students say denied them fair opportunities for education and employment. This prompted calls for accountability and reform, including demands that the education minister step down. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced the creation of special courts to prosecute those behind the controversy. Taiwanese citizens planning to travel to Morocco may need to reconsider their plans. One of Taiwan's biggest travel agencies reported that the Moroccan embassy in Japan has suspended visa applications for Taiwanese passport holders, though no notice was given by Moroccan authorities. Taiwan's foreign ministry said it is trying to contact the embassy for an explanation and is monitoring the situation. Taiwanese seeking entry to Morocco must apply through the embassy in Japan, as the two countries don't have official ties. Extreme temperatures are hitting Japan, with officials coming up with a new term to warn people how dangerous the heat can be. Tiffany Wong has more.
Carrying handheld fans, shading themselves with umbrellas, people in Japan are looking for ways to escape the unbearable summer heat as temperatures approached 40 degrees Celsius this week. The heat is uncomfortable and dangerous. At least 14 people have died this summer from heat-related illness, and thousands have been hospitalized. Locals and tourists say it's hard to get used to.
Unprecedented numbers of people, like elderly folks and young children, are being rushed to the hospital due to heat stroke because they aren't drinking water. I myself am an elderly person, so regarding those things, I feel we must be careful to stay hydrated, or depending on the person, use a parasol.
I feel that it's extremely hot so early in the morning. There is no progression. You leave the hotel at 8:30. I mean, it feels as if it was noontime. And as the day progresses, it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And we're constantly having to hydrate ourselves, trying to find shade.
On Friday, most of Japan's main island was under a heat stroke alert, with exercise prohibited as temperatures soared. And the heat is not letting up. The 2-week weather forecast shows very high temperatures across the country. This summer heat wave is so unusually hot that officials have even come up with a new word for when temperatures exceed 40 degrees, kokushobi, or cruelly hot day. The first such alert was issued on Tuesday.
Since I had never heard that expression in previous years, it makes me think it must be really hot this year, and that scares me.
Very sweaty. From the minute I walk out of home, I'm wet, and it's all about looking after my little boy and making sure that he can cope with the heat.
As summer drags on, these cruelly hot days may become more and more frequent as extreme heat hits hard all around the world. Hank Shui and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
The annual Ocean Cup and Indigenous canoe race on Orchid Island off Taiwan's east coast has attracted huge crowds. Our reporter Cindy Chi has the story.
Braving the waves and paddling toward one goal, victory in the annual Ocean Cup, an Indigenous wind canoe race held on Orchid Island. It's home to the Dao people, one of Taiwan's 16 officially recognized Indigenous groups, and the only one whose traditional homeland is not on Taiwan's main island.
最传统的一个文化之一哈。那我们除了飞鱼，那除了船，除了跳舞，除了芋头，那最重要的就是我们这次的平板舟的一个竞技。我想，是除了让我们这些各村团结，然后热情，当然也是我们海洋文化的一个盛会。
This year's race carries extra meaning after sailors from the island completed a historic voyage, crossing to Batanes in the Philippines, aboard a traditional wooden canoe. Each year, one of Orchid Island's 6 Dao villages hosts the Ocean Cup, bringing together families and paddlers from across the island to celebrate their shared maritime traditions. And winning the race requires countless hours of training and team effort. Some even say they've been training in their sleep.
就譬如晚上的话，我们睡觉也是要，会划船，模拟在浴缸上面会假
那个模拟
会练习
睡觉，假的在睡觉，然后，
像这样子，差不多是这样。
你就自己看我们这些桨手的脸，也是桨手的手也一样啦，每个部落都一样，全部看我们的手都知道我们是怎么练的。 一定有破掉这些手掌这边才可以去参加这些，我们的越野赛啦、1公里啦，或者是一些1人桨、2人船那种。
These wind canoes, known as tatalas, are closely tied to Dao men's fishing, transportation, and ceremonial practices. Women are traditionally not allowed to be around the vessels.
就是从以前我们的祖先就是这样告诉我们一代一代，就是认为女孩子因为有夜视来，也是生孩子之类，他们会认为是我们去碰那个船，捕捞的时候会影响它的量。
But nowadays, the Ocean Cup includes women's races, with over 50 women competing.
去接触一下那个我们传统的那个平板舟，才知道男士在那个海边作业。 因为在海上作业真的很不容易，那个坐在船上，那个海浪这样子一颠一颠的，有时候会晕浪。
文化保留的角度来讲的话，其实已经都有呐喊女性在里面，对，所以其实我们才会讲说，我们这一代已经开始慢慢的在转换。其实文化的保留不是说一昧的遵循传统的文化，我们要与时俱进，对。 这些东西重要的是要由人来传递传承。
For these competitors, winning the Ocean Cup is a big deal. But the most important part is about keeping traditions alive for the next generation. Scott Huang and Sunny Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, today we're traveling to the Louvre in Paris, where the Apollo Gallery has reopened to the public following last year's jewel heist. I'm Betty Chen. Take care and see you next time.